There is no, I repeat, no digital trading card game better than the Pokemon TCG game for the Game Boy Color. Yeah, that's a big statement to make. But when you look back at its history and what it actually offered you as a game, you're going to understand pretty quickly why that statement I started this video with is 100% true. I will admit, the game starts off kind of slow, forcing you through a tutorial where you can't make your own moves, but it does teach you the core gameplay mechanics. Because let's be real, who actually played this game properly on the playground? Because I sure as hell didn't. And at the time of recording this in June of 2023, the Pokemon TCG for the Game Boy Color is going to be releasing on Nintendo Switch Online, which means that you're all going to have the opportunity to play this game legally if you have the Nintendo Switch Online Premium package. And let's be honest, if you're like me and owned this copy back in the day, I mean, I think the game's only like a Google search away, if you know what I mean. But with all that said, let's go ahead and get into the main point of the video, talking about the game itself. The Pokemon TCG GBC video game, yeah, that's a mouthful, is a video game simulation of the original tabletop collectible card game. There are a total of 226 cards that exist within this game. Within that card pool exist cards that are in the actual real life game, at least a few that are modified for the video game adaptation, and then special, mostly random based Game Boy Color video game exclusive cards. So with your typical beginner Pokemon choice, you choose Grass, Fire, Water, Charmander, Squirtle, or Bulbasaur. You get that deck to start out with your adventure and you're off. Go and fight the Game Masters, or pardon me, the Club Masters, not the Pokemon Gym Leaders. These Club Masters to get badges so you can eventually go into something that is akin to the Elite Four. What's not akin to an elite status is my subscriber count. So feel free to go hit that subscribe button before we get into the game a little bit more. Thank you. I appreciate it. Let's move forward. At this point in life, I don't really know who doesn't know Pokemon. Let's just be honest. From campsites to schools to everyone should know about Pokemon. And you know a few things about Pokemon. You know the trading card game is a big deal. So, if you want to learn the basics of how the game structure is, this is probably the most complete experience of any collectible card game ever. Period. Like I said before, the main first battle that you get into kind of forces you to know how the game menus and things work. With that, you understand that energies have to be attached to Pokemon so that they can use their attacks, or that you have an active Pokemon and bench Pokemon. These basics are basic, and after that first battle, you're probably not going to have to understand that. The simulator runs your hand, essentially, so you know exactly what you have to do. Okay, this is your bench phase. Put an active Pokemon in your bench down. If you click on an extra energy, it says, no, you can't play an extra energy this turn. Everything can be checked, and that's your discard pile, the opponent's active Pokemon, their bench Pokemon, your bench Pokemon, all the Pokemon powers. All that is very easily accessible so that you're able to go through and check out every part of this game being played, which is a fantastic tool, not only for beginners, but if you look away for 5 minutes or 5 seconds and suddenly something is evolved and you don't know what its Pokemon power is, boom, just go in the game and check it out. Now, I don't want this to be a full run through of everything, and I want to make that very clear. I'm not going to tell you what decks to make or what route to take. That's all up to you. All I really want to get out is that the Pokemon trading card game for the Game Boy Color is fantastic for a few main points, right? We already talked about the beginning, the tutorial with everything, but moving forward, you don't have to pay any real money for cards. Yes, I understand the Game Boy Color didn't have microtransactions, but what I can tell you very confidently is, although you may have to grind for a few staple cards, I'm looking at you, Energy Removal, Professor Oak, and Bill. But past that, if you're grinding out cards or whatever, you do it through the heat of battle. You don't whip out a wallet and just say, give me a set of 4 Bill cards. Because that also ties into one of my main negatives with the game. Cool. You're at a point where you feel pretty confident with your deck and you have a bunch of extra cards sitting in your inventory. So you want to make a secondary deck. Here's the problem. If you have 4 copies of Bill, right? 4 is the max amount of cards you can play in a deck. And you have those all in your original deck. For me, it's the Bulbasaur deck. You can't take those out of one deck to copy them in another. This is a very literal game where if you don't have 4 extra in a physical folder, you can't put them in a secondary deck. Where modern card games, if you have 1 copy of a legendary card in Hearthstone, you can put it as many decks as you want. It doesn't matter. But in this game, you are forced throughout all your decks to only use the number of cards you have in general, which can make grinding a little excessive if you want to have 2 or 3 decks to bounce back and forth between. That said, if you need extra energy cards, go back to the lab in the second room by the deck builders. You can battle one of the main guys there just for a Coliseum pack that's only energy cards. So you can grind with him a few games and you'll have energy cards to spare. That's not really that big of a deal. But if you're looking for specific trainer cards, that's where you may have to focus yourself down a little bit. So after I beat a trainer, I pretty much keep a digital log in my head to which trainer will give you which type of pack. There are 4 packs on top of getting promotional cards. Coliseum, Evolution, Mystery, and Laboratory. Now, if you know exactly what cards come out of what pack, you know what to grind for. If you go on Cerebi.net, search up the trading card game, Game Boy, and from there you'll be able to choose the packs and see what drops are in each pack. So I mean, Coliseum pack, just to name a few that are important. You got Hitmonchan, Electabuzz, stuff like that, Chansey, Kangaskhan. But the main ones are the trainers. You got Computer Search, Bill, Professor Oak, all cards that are kind of staples to be RNG mitigation. Find the cards you need quickly to defeat the opponent as quickly as possible. If you have no experience with the card game, I'll explain them right now. Bill is essentially a pot of greed. You draw 2 cards. You can mill yourself out, but at the sake of finding what you need out of a 60 card deck, you'd rather draw cards and have more opportunity to get what you want. Professor Oak, you discard whatever is in your hand and you draw a whole new hand of 7 cards. So if you have a low count of cards in your hands, Professor Oak obviously is broken. You can Professor Oak into a full turn of trainers and then Professor Oak again. So you're going through cards like crazy. And Computer Search is another staple. Discard 2 other cards from your hand, but you get to search your deck for any card and put it into your hand. So you can just get evolution cards you need, or a double color energy, or there's a bunch of stuff you can do with these cards. They're a reason they're staples, and you want them in every deck to cycle and get what you want out of your deck to get something rolling on the offense, essentially. And again, grinding out these packs, well, it's fun. You're playing the Pokemon trading card game. It's not like you're doing an offshoot, I'm going to mine resources or anything like that. You're playing the card game to get new cards, which you can unlock every single card in the game. So it's not even that it's exclusive to a red or a blue version. Play as long as you want. Quit playing when you're done with the game. But I will finish off this video with if I feel it's worth it to finish the game or not. And with that being said, finish the game. It's just going up against different decks and competing in the tournament. I don't know why you wouldn't want to beat this game. It's not really tedious except for the trainer card grind. But again, once you get a good deck, those battles go quicker and quicker, and it's easier for you to kind of snowball into a powerhouse of Pokemon trading card godlike status. Realistically, if you want to know what decks to run, just look online to see what the meta was during like the fossil set. Boom, you know what decks to make, and you're gonna have fun bouncing between them all. Look, my original statement is true. This is the best digital card game that you can get based on an actual real card game. And like I said, for a few reasons. It teaches you how to play the game very well. It, lets you grind out all the cards you want to get, and it's a full experience. It's not just some battle disc with a lame one battle thing. No, get all the cards you want, make whatever decks you want, have fun. You don't run into the same issue you do as like in a Pokemon game where like, oh, that trainer battle was pretty fun, but you can't face that trainer again. No, just walk up and face that person again. You can go for 2 prize games. You can go to 4 prize games. You can face the leaders again and go for a full 6-card match. It's up to you, and the game really does allow you to have that freedom. The only other game that comes even close to the level of this Pokemon TCG game is Magic the Gathering Chandelar. Now, I'm going to tell you, subscribe if you want to see that video. I can see the analytics. If I get a few more subscribers from this, I'll toss out the Chandelar videos sooner rather than later. Otherwise, that one's going to sit and cook for a little bit because I want to do a full playthrough of it, but I digress. Thanks for watching this whole video. Go ahead and do me a favor. Click that subscribe button. It really helps out, and I know what you guys would want to watch in the future. And that's going to be it. Let me know in the comments if you guys are just watching this video for nostalgia's sake, or if you're just trying to get ready for the online launch on the Nintendo Switch. Let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.